The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, thank you, John Cleese. I really like that intro. You know, the weather around this country is so confusing right now. And I tell you, in Chicago, they're talking tonight, well, they could lose the grid. That's how cold it's going to be. I thought the temperatures would start warming up in certain areas, and they have, but in other areas, it's like cooling off. Where I'm at in the harbor, I can tell you at the compound tonight, it is like 27 degrees and dropping. They expect it to be 23. Now, some places that is like a heat wave. Well, I'm not used to those temperatures. Again, in Antarctica, they're seeing this massive cave that's forming under the glaciers, and ice is actually now way bigger than they thought, and the melt is speeding up even more than what they even said as of yesterday. What does that mean? It means that the sea level from this alone will raise the sea level up about 3 feet. If you own property in Florida, now maybe is a good time to consider selling it. Unless you want to just have a boat and then moor your boat on your property. That's one way to do it, I guess. Well, tonight we got Yang on talking about ghost hunting, places where it's been really exciting adventures for her, making videos and putting it up on YouTube of all her adventures right after this.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
And you can check out our web, too, at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. That's www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Take a look at our gallery, and you can actually scroll down, and you can listen to our show live when we go live on our web. Yang, how was your day today at school?
It was good, yeah. Yeah, I had a nice class today.
Okay. Now, you were saying before we went on the air, you started doing learning video production back around 2012?
Yeah, I took a beginning video production class in 2012, and that's how it all started.
And that's when you guys got into, what made you get into, like, going out and finding creepy ghosts and looking for those type of adventures? What kind of motivated you on that?
So it was around October when the teacher said, okay, you guys have to come up with ideas and form teams and make your first videos. And I'd always been interested in ghosts because I grew up listening to ghost stories and watching scary movies, you know, with my mom. and also she passed away. And since then, I had really started wondering, you know, are there spirits after death? You know, do they survive after that, you know? And so, you know, I'm in this class and I say, hey, it's October. Why don't we follow some ghost hunters, some real ghost hunters, and see what it's really like? And I just happened to had seen a car representing a local group that does ghost hunting in Alameda, California, several months prior in the 4th of July parade, and I remembered them. So I thought, hey, we should reach out to them and see if we can film them as, like, filmmakers. So that's how it started. Well,
I hate to say it, a lot of the ghost hunting groups out there, they love the idea of being filmed. You know, I hate to say it. You got, like, two types of ghost hunters out there. You got the ones that are seriously looking, you know, to prove that there is life after death. And then you got the other type that are more of a social gathering where they, you know, I don't know. I've had a couple of them on my show where, you know, you talk to them and you say, well, how many ghost hunts have you gone on? And they come back, well, maybe one or two. And well, how long you been together? Oh, we've been together 3 years. And you gone out on 1 or 2?
Oh.
Yeah, but we want to get on a cable channel. We want to. And I'm going to myself, that's never going to happen. I mean, you're going to have, like any occupation or any hobby, you got to put some work into it.
Yeah.
So,
sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're the guest, not me.
Well, we were very lucky because the Alameda Paranormal Researchers they're serious about what they do. And they were very good to work with, very rational, And so we asked them if we could film them, and they were sure. But it was never anything sensationalistic or, they really do want to know the answers, we found out. And so that's why we've been choosing to follow them since then, and plus other people that we've come across, such as, psychic mediums and people we trust.
Well, have you been out on a shoot with them and then found some really eerie things that when you went back and reviewed the video, like, wow, I mean, we didn't see this happen?
Yeah. Well, there's so many times that things have happened, I'm trying to narrow it down right now. So, recently we were at the Warfield Theater. It's not that recent, about a year and a half ago. And we were down in the dressing room area, and then me and my cameraman, his name is Cody, we both felt pressure coming out of one of the rooms. And Cody refused to walk into that room. And so one of the investigators on APR, that's short for Alameda Paranormal Researchers, one of them, decided to take a thermal photo. And we were there as she took it, and so we know that nobody was coming in or out of that room, and it's a small room, nobody could hide in there. She took a photo, and there's clearly a face on there. And we were so shocked that because we've been doing this since 2012, and we've never seen anything like this. We've seen more subtle things, like cameras moving on their own, but very slightly, usually, or doors closing on their own, and but this was clearly a face, and we thought, maybe it's an old photo, that she accidentally, made a negative of because the image was not a normal image. And then she kept taking photos while we're there, and the face kept showing up.
Was it a male or female face or a demon type of face? What type of face was it?
It was a male, looks like Caucasian. Or, Latino, it's not, it's a thermal image, but it's very clearly a face, and there's kind of a goatee, and he's bald. And we were just completely, no way, this can't be real. There must be a rational explanation. So she takes a couple more photos, and the face is still there. And another thing happened where one of my cameramen waved his hand in front of the camera, of the phone, and he said, the background is live, but the face is burned onto the screen. Because we thought maybe it's an old picture, but if it were an old picture, you couldn't see your hand wave, behind it, while the face is on there.
That is so interesting. Now, was this with film or a digital camera?
This was a thermal camera that she had it's called FLIR. It's a kind of thermal imaging camera. She was using the app on her cell phone.
Okay, yeah.
And
doesn't sound like.
And also the image is reversed as what it should be if it were a live person, because the face was blue, which means it's extremely cold, and the background was orange, and it should be reversed because humans give off a heat signature. The face should be bright, and the background should be darker, but it was the reverse.
Oh, that's because they were a spirit, and they're not not giving off any heat or anything. They're I hate to say it, they're departed. I mean, did the face change each time, the image of the face, or was it the same image each time?
It looked like the same image. Some think that he moved slightly. It looks like he moved slightly. Although, some of us were saying, well, how do we know her hand didn't move? It comes down to little details like that. We can't say for certain.
Well, things like that do happen. I was really never believed in ghosts myself. But back in, I would say, well, in the 90s, late 90s and stuff, I used to manage a store, a photography store, matter of fact, a professional photography store. Actually, I was the general manager. And it was built on originally it was a hotel upstairs back in the 1890s, all the way up to like 1930s or 40s. And in the basement, originally, it was a speakeasy, and before that, it was a bar because it was in Tacoma, Washington. So all the, the ship and the Navy would come in, and the sailors would, come in. And actually, it turned out the hotel was a brothel for a long period of time. And I had these employees. We were using the basement for storage because we had 3 other stores. And I would send my employees down there, and they would come back and say they don't want to go back down there. It's haunted. Now, I'm looking at the guys we had working for us. One was an ex-ranger. One was a chief bosun mate on submarines. We had a guy at one time. This is over like a 16-year period. Everybody it went down there, one time or another would come back and say something moved or they smelt something or somebody touched them. I never had it happen to me till after about 15 years being there. And one day I went down to get something in the basement. I was the only one there, poorly lit, but I smelled lilac really strong. And then and being in an old basement like that, where it goes actually even under the main street, I would think I would smell sewage, No, it was lilac. But then I backed up and then I didn't smell anything. And it was ice cold while I smelled it. Okay, I kind of like brushed that off. And I think like a week or 2 later, I go back down in the basement and somebody taps me on the shoulder where it hurt. And I'll be honest with you, I thought it was one of the employees. I doubled up my fist and I was ready to punch him. And I turned around and there was nobody there.
Wow.
Absolutely nobody there. And I'm going to tell you, what made me quit my job after being there 16 years, and that was the first job I actually loved, but I couldn't take it anymore. My office was downstairs, but one of my other jobs, besides being the general manager, because I've always been in electronics, I've always been a fanatic, on photography and all that stuff, I went to school to learn how to repair digital cameras. And back that time, digital cameras were coming out, and with sensors, they would get dust on them that you'd have to clean them. And I would be there after hours cleaning camera after camera. And then I'd be there late at night, sometimes like to around 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning doing these. And I would hear on the other side of my office, there was like a hallway, and then there was a main staircase that